And we're going to have a look at what happens to the food on the plate, to break it down to microscopic little particles that then can get absorbed into the blood.
In this video, Barbara O'Neill explains the important role of the pancreas in our health, especially as we get older. She talks about how the pancreas helps with digestion and controls blood sugar, and the common problems it can face, like diabetes. Barbara also shares how diet, lifestyle, and even caffeine can affect the pancreas, giving helpful tips on how to keep it healthy. With easy-to-understand advice, she shows viewers how to make simple changes for better health. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on future videos.
All your starch digestion is put on hold because we're now in an acid stomach. And then we move through and come to the first part of the small intestine, which is called the duodenum. And the duodenum has two main organs that are emptying into it. Notice we've got the liver here, the gallbladder. The gallbladder is a reservoir for bile, and that bile duct comes down, connects with the neck of the pancreas and empties into the duodenum. It's an alkaline environment in the duodenum. And the enzyme that is released from your gallbladder, so I'll just do GB for gallbladder, from the duodenum, is bile. And bile is an enzyme that breaks down long-chain fatty acids, so this is your unsaturated fats. So a lot of those fats are vegetable fats, you know, found in your nuts and your seeds. From the duodenum, the pancreas also releases some enzymes in there. And the pancreas releases pancreatic lipase. And pancreatic lipase does the final breakdown of the unsaturated fats. They're the long-chain fatty acids. So bile starts it, pancreatic lipase finalizes it. The pancreas also releases pancreatic amylase. And remember, ptyalin is a salivary amylase, so the amylase salivary amylase ptyalase starts the digestion, put on hold in the stomach, comes to the duodenum, and pancreatic amylase finalizes the starch digestion. What's also released in the pancreas is trypsin. And trypsin is the enzyme that finalizes protein digestion. So protein digestion is begun in the stomach and finalized in the duodenum under trypsin and chymotrypsin. So these are two enzymes that break down protein. I've got some good news. It's going to get easier now. They're all the big words.
Barbara explains that the pancreas has two primary roles: aiding digestion by producing enzymes and regulating blood sugar through the production of hormones like insulin. She mentions that as people age, the pancreas may encounter problems such as diabetes, pancreatitis, or pancreatic cancer.
From this, students, what's the main organ of digestion? It's the pancreas. Most people think that all of their digestion happens in the stomach, but it is not true. Now, one of the great things about saturated fat, it does not need bile. It does not need pancreatic lipase because the breakdown began in the mouth. So people with liver, gallbladder problems, pancreatic problems, what's the best fat for them? Coconut, yeah. Coconut, it's very easy to digest. But you can see if stomach is not acid enough and pepsin can't break down protein, then protein comes into the duodenum, and trypsin and chymotrypsin, they just start the breakdown. and they should be finalising the breakdown. At every stage, every organ's role is very important. And if the person ate too fast and didn't give time for the ptyalin to begin starch digestion, and undigested starch gets to the pancreas, pancreatic amylase starts the breakdown, whereas it should be finishing it.
Barbara emphasizes the impact of diet, such as excessive sugar and refined carbohydrate consumption, which can strain the pancreas and lead to insulin resistance. She also points out that a lack of physical activity, stress, and poor sleep can contribute to pancreatic issues.
All it does is stop the gut being inflamed. And on all that medication, he's going 6 times a day. And number 3, there is a herb called slippery elm, and slippery elm coats, soothes and heals the lining of the gut. Psalm 104 verse 14, the Bible says, God gave herbs for the service of man. Slippery elm is a remarkable herb. It not only gives form to the stool, it coats, soothes and lines the gut, and it contains a growth stimulant, so it can stimulate rapid healing in the lining of the gut. I said, can I try some things on you? He said, certainly. Now, we don't serve any wheat or dairy or refined sugar or alcohol at our health retreat. You've probably noticed. I gave him slippery elm 4 times a day, morning, noon, 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. at night. And I gave him a double dose of probiotic. You see, he told me he walks by the beach every morning, and where he walks, there are 4 restrooms on his walk. He's got to, because he's got to keep going in. So in his 1-hour walk every morning, he's got to do 4 stops. First 2 days of the program, he's on juices, so I'm watching him closely. I said, how many times are you going? He said, 5, that's 1 less, on juices. You see, the slippery elm gives form, it coats and soothes. The second day, he was very happy. He said, I only had to stop 3 times on my morning walk this morning. And he's going 4 times. He's dropping 1 movement a day, fantastic. And it's becoming formed. Wednesday, eating food was much better. I said to him, I believe you can stop your anti-inflammatories and halve your cortisone. He was not interested in doing that on day 1, but because of the results he was getting, he became interested. By Friday, he's going 3 times a day. That's exciting, and formed. The bleeding from the bowel had stopped. The cramping had stopped. This is on medication, all that was happening.
She provides an explanation of how the pancreas regulates blood sugar, focusing on insulin's role and the problem of insulin resistance, which can lead to type 2 diabetes.
So there are herbs that'll revive colon function. And the herb tea mix that we are serving you, we call it colon tea, because these herbs specifically, directly affect the function of the colon. And this is the recipe: 1 part cascara, 2 part licorice, and 3 part buckthorn. Licorice is a root, and buckthorn and cascara are barks. So they all need a gentle simmer. So of that mix, you mix it together in a jar, and the recipe is 1 teaspoon of these herbs to 1 cup of water. And then there is a gentle simmer. And you would simmer them for, say, 10 minutes. And the dose is, most people, 1 cup a night will do. If a person's a bit more frequent, half a cup at night. Only in about 3 cases have I ever met people that would need 3 cups a day. But not forever. These herbs, if continually taking, it gets to the point where you have to take less and less and less. Your body's guide basically is your body's response. Or your guide is your body's response.
Barbara advises on the importance of choosing healthy fats, such as coconut oil, which is easier to digest for people with pancreatic or gallbladder problems. She discusses how caffeine affects blood sugar regulation by causing the pancreas to release glucagon, which can further complicate diabetes management. If you found this video informative, make sure to give a like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so that you won't miss out on any future videos.